Guys, what's up? Today I want to talk about something I'm really passionate about. Something that's easy to overlook and we all overlook it, but something that can make or break a product experience. Microinteractions. Now, these are the tiny details that differentiate a good or even a bad product from a great one. Don't get me wrong, we all love microinteractions, don't we? Whether it's the feeling that you get when you tap on your mouse, whether it's the functionality that you get when your favorite screenshot tool actually takes a screenshot, gives us that snapping sound, and then presents that particular screenshot on the left for you to copy it or perform actions on it, or whether it's simply just sending an email to forget that you actually missed something and the ability to undo it. We all love them. But the problem is, designers don't design around them, developers don't want to spend time designing them or developing them, and CEOs and product owners don't want to invest in them. I really want to talk to all of you, particularly the product owners, because obviously, if they change their mind, I think it's going to be better for all of us. It seems like they think that micro interactions are details that you add after your product becomes successful or gains a lot of users, and they think that they'll invest on it later on, like they're a bonus feature or they're like a nice to have. But honestly, that couldn't be further from the truth. Micro interactions aren't just decorative add-ons. They're core to building a seamless and engaging user experience. Skipping these interactions in your product often means you're missing out on ways to delight users and increase user satisfaction and reduce churn. And this is even more important when you're actually launching your product, when you're actually launching those features that you actually want users to use. Particularly true for new products. So, what are micro interactions to begin with? Simply put, they're those small interactions and moments in a digital product that communicate feedback or provide a sense of continuity or indicate system status. They can be based on a user action or based on the current system status. They're also highly contextual, meaning they're contextual to the user and they're contextual to a user action if they are being triggered by a user action. And they are not static elements. Things like the feeling and sound your mouse has when you actually click on it, seeing typing indicators on popular applications, or even simple button animations all fall under micro interactions. Now, when I'm talking about this, you're like, hey, these seem minor, but they're a huge part of what makes a product feel intuitive, responsive, and really legitimate. So why do micro interactions matter? Well, micro interactions matter because they enhance user engagement. Micro interactions keep users engaged by providing instant feedback and satisfying interactions. They also boost usability. They guide users intuitively, reducing the learning curve and improving the overall usability of the application. They also build trust. Clear micro interactions actually make users feel in control and confident that the system is listening to them and it's also working. They also reduce user errors, visual cues that help prevent mistakes by guiding users step by step, particularly true for forms that have micro interactions, particularly true for when users are performing certain things as well. We're going to have a look at a bunch of examples for this so this idea gets ingrained in your head. The first example, let's talk about one of our most used application, WhatsApp. Have you ever noticed that when someone, apologies, when someone is typing or recording a voice message, you see a little status update in the chat. So in the chat list, you actually get a message indicating the system status where another user is recording a message. So this is not based on a user interaction or my own user interaction. This is actually based on the system status of some other user interacting with me. What happens here is this is really subtle but incredibly effective because it keeps you engaged by building anticipation. Hey, what is that person trying to message me? Even though the message is still not there, but it keeps you hooked. When you see someone typing or recording, you're naturally inclined to stay on the chat or go to that chat if you haven't opened it, waiting to see what they'll send. WhatsApp even added this particular voice recording indicator that previously honestly wasn't there to the main chat as well, to further enhance this particular engagement and sense of connectedness. It's a visual cue that actually deepens this particular real-time engagement and experience, and it makes conversations even feel more connected. Another thing that I just quickly want to point out is I'm recording my screen, so you can even see a recording indicator by the iOS system to indicate that I'm recording. That is also part of a micro interaction. Let's have a look at another example for sending a form, or let's say submitting a form, or sending a report. Let's just make it simple, sending a report. Now imagine you have two examples here of two, let's say, different product experiences. In example one, you can actually click on the send report button and nothing happens. There are no micro interactions apart from the one that actually is the active indicator, which happens when you actually click on it. So what are your first thoughts about this experience going to be? The first thing you're probably going to ask yourself is this send a report button working? Is it actually sending the report? I'm getting no confirmation, I'm getting no indication, nothing is happening. Like, what's going on? And it could potentially be working completely 100% and it's sending it. But is this experience better? Or is this experience better that when you click on send report, it actually moves to a sending state and then says that the report is sent? Again, you actually send it, the button gets disabled to avoid multiple requests as well, and actually gives the user feedback that the report is being sent. And then when it's sent, and a confirmation actually occurs. Which one do you think users are going to trust? Now, when I'm actually sharing this, a lot of you may consider, hey, that's a bizarre example. No real product actually does something like this where you click on a button and nothing happens, or nothing close to it happens. But actually, you'd be surprised as to how many real tools that have millions of dollars in funding, or I don't know, billion-dollar companies actually do this. And we're going to have a look at that immediately in the next example. Now, before we move forward, I want to highlight, if there are product owners or CEOs looking to take their product from its current state to a really loved product and a seamless product, we are available for work. You can reach out to us on sales@thesmallsquare.com. Alternatively, you can actually check out our website, thesmallsquare.com, and have a look at the great testimonials we have a look at the work that we've done, and we'd be happy to help you. Let's get back to it. Example of that is Microsoft Teams. Why do you think people hate Microsoft Teams so much? It is one of those products that actually have a huge market share, much more larger than Slack, much more larger than Discord. But that's because people are forced to use it because their organization is on the M365 infrastructure. So imagine you actually go ahead and upload a video. I'm going to upload one of my larger videos and I'm going to click on post. As you can see, I'm clicking on the post multiple times, but it's not showing me any indication. Obviously, I can guess that the file is uploading, thus it's not allowing me to upload it. But as you can see, no micro interaction near the post button, similar to what I was talking about earlier. Now, if I click on the post button and I actually immediately scroll up, I can see, okay, uploading, please wait. They have a micro interaction, but it's so buried within that people are going to miss it. So obviously Microsoft Teams is has a huge market share because it's part of Microsoft and the part of Microsoft infrastructure. So they can afford to make this mistake and still be profitable. But you cannot. We cannot build products that people do not want to use but are forced to use because they're part of their ecosystem. We cannot afford to do that. Let's have a look at another example that's an absolute necessity. Now, another example of a practical necessity in microinteraction comes from file uploads. This is one of those necessities that should not come after you've built your product, but while you're building it. Think about two file upload tools. I actually have two in front of me that are used to compress your MP4s. So in one instance, I actually have a tool like this. I can select my file. First of all, I'm going to try to drop it. So dropping does not work. Unfortunately, I have to manually click on select a file. So the user experience already is horrible. And I click on upload video file. And now as you can see, it's uploading the file, but I'm not really sure how long is this going to take. Is it going to take 10 seconds? Is it going to take 20 seconds? Is it going to take 1 hour? I have no indication. So I'm not really inclined to use this tool. Even though it may be working perfectly fine, but I have no idea what to actually expect and whether the uploading is working or everything's going fine or something. Especially for larger uploads, you definitely need progress indicators. So very similarly, I can go to a separate tool. I can go to something like this. I can drop the same file. First of all, I can easily drag and drop. So that's a nice micro interaction as well. And then actually that can be considered a feature, but the micro interaction here can be considered this particular uploading indicator. So it's telling me, okay, the rate at which it's uploading, which may not necessarily be necessary, the time it's going to take, the time left, and most importantly, the progress bar. You don't have to go as detailed here, but just showing that progress bar actually helps the user know what to expect. How long is this going to take? Is it working? Is everything okay? This is a major example of one of those things that actually differentiate a good product from the bad one. Another great example of a micro interaction is when you're signing up for a new account and typing out a username. Ever notice how some websites, like for example Linktree in front of me, will check availability in real time? As soon as you start typing, there's a small message or an icon telling you if the username is available or it's not available or it's already taken. This tiny bit of feedback actually feels intuitive, saves times, and boosts productivity. Because imagine you're not waiting until you click submit to find out if you need to make a change. And if you click submit, obviously that may mean that the focus from your input actually disappears. So you now have to actually click the input again, then you actually have to change it. So again, just by doing something simple as that, it actually increases the chance of users registering for your platform. Because the more friction you add, the likelihood of users bouncing off of your platform increases. Now, a lot of people actually want people to register for their platforms, but not a lot of people are actually willing to invest in these micro interactions to make their product successful. They would rather compromise on dev resources, and they're going to say, hey, this is going to take a bit of time in terms of dev resources. Why don't we put that cost and sacrifice user experience? And a lot of people do that unknowingly and don't consider the consequences. So hopefully all of these examples actually highlight the importance of micro interactions. And in conclusion, I just want to say a great product isn't just about function, it's about the overall experience. Micro interactions allow users to feel important. They allow your users to feel that the product is functional, it's polished, and it's intuitive. It helps users from making errors, from guessing. It also helps your product feel more responsive, and it keeps them engaged. It differentiates mediocre products from high quality ones. So if you're launching a product, don't wait till you make it or have tons of users to add these in, because these little details are the very things that are going to help you make it, that are going to help you onboard a lot of users. So don't forget that. All right, so if you're actually interested in going a bit deeper, this is particularly for the designers in the world of micro interactions, I highly recommend checking out the book Micro Interactions by Dan Schaffer, or maybe it's Saffer. He's got amazing insights on how these small interactions are designed and how they help shape our digital experiences. That's it for today's breakdown on micro interactions. If this was helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.